5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the future.
What's up, YouTube and Facebook, and welcome to Not Quite Mint. Today we're going to be going through our comics in quarantine. We've got some good stuff. Rich has picked up some good stuff this week, and I've been binge reading. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, definitely get into it. As always, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the little bell next to it so you don't miss any of our upcoming streams and videos. We're currently streaming twice a week whilst we're in this sort of like isolation lockdown situation. But fingers crossed, in the next month or so, me and Tom will be able to. Well, we'll probably still do streams because I quite like the live streams, in fairness. But
we'll get to drive all the way over to yours for us to do it. Then you drive your way home and then have tea at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly, mate. So we'll still do like little videos here and there, but we'll probably just like bulk record them, won't we? And then release them in bits and bobs throughout the month type thing. Because we've still got that comic combat that we haven't done yet, have we?
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, so there's loads of things that we've got planned, guys. So do make sure that you're subscribed. We are on the social medias as well. So obviously check that down over by Tom. Yes, by Tom. Yeah, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we're all there. And obviously that's going to be the best way for you to just keep up to date with us from a daily basis. But we've been quite busy this week, haven't we, I think, Tom?
Oh, I would say so, mate. I would say so. I've read far too much.
I was going to say, when you sent me through all the files for what you've been reading, I was like, shit, you've been a busy boy. So then, shall we? We'll get started with your stuff. Oh yeah. Also, I have got the contents of a mystery box that I'll give you the details of later with us. So obviously, stick with us because we've got. I have opened it because I didn't know what it was when it arrived. But I'll tell the story in a little bit. So do stick with us for the mystery box as well.
Yeah, and stay till the end because we'll talk about the giveaway as well.
Yeah, we're doing a giveaway as well, guys. So do make sure that you are sticking with us, and we'll tell you how to join that at the end of the video as well. So now, Tom, where would you like to start? What are you feeling?
I don't mind, to be honest, as long as we do the Giant Size X-Men and then Deadly Genesis afterwards, because that doesn't make sense if we're doing the other way around.
Okie dokie, though. And so shall we start with this one? Go with that one?
So yeah, so I've been rereading Batman, so I decided to catch up from issue 50, I think it is. Basically, it's the Tom King run, so I was like, oh, I'm going to pick it up, because I only read up to issue 50 and then I kind of dropped off, and then we've started rereading it since James Tynion took over. So I kind of knew what happened during the period of time that I didn't read. So I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm actually going to go back and read it while I've got a bit of time to catch up before the new stuff comes out. So I decided to pick up issue 50. I read issue 50, 51. Sorry, I read issue 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60, just to catch up, as it were. And I got a bit confused by what was going on because there was so many different stories going on. But the first couple of issues, issue 51 and 52, were about Bruce Wayne doing like a court case regarding Mr. Freeze. Really well written. I actually really enjoyed those books, to be perfectly honest. And then after that, it kind of was a little bit like, oh, I'm not really sure what's going on. But I think I kind of, because I'm just reading the Batman, I feel like it's a crossover for other stuff that I'm not reading the other stuff, so it didn't make sense to me. And then there was this dream situation, like he was having haunted dreams. Really well written. I mean, the story's good. In each individual book, the story was good, but I didn't quite understand because it didn't pick up where it left off. So, like, for instance, I think it's issue 60. No, it might be issue 58. He's get beaten up by a pig. The big dog.
Yeah.
How did he get to that point? I don't understand how he got to that point. But one of the other things that comes out in these comics that was interesting is the fact that the Penguin kind of gives up to Batman that he has been employed to assassinate Alfred, but decides not to. And it's all down because big old Bane is leading the Arkham Asylum. So Batman goes to the Arkham Asylum and beats the living crap out of Bane, but yet he's pretending he's dumb and he doesn't know what's going on. And then Batman comes out looking like an absolute arse. And Commissioner Gordon's like, "You've just gone in there and beaten him to, bring him half to death." And he hasn't done anything. He hasn't moved out of his cell for the last 6 months. So what planet are you on? Do you know what I mean? So everyone's kind of thinking he's lost it a little bit. Really well written. So it's all written by Tom King. There's lots of different artists. There's Lee Weeks, Matt Wagner, Tony S. Daniels, Michael Jane, and then Travis Moore, I think, is the name, the other guy. So anyway, go and read it. Tom King is incredible. His writing style is incredible.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see as you progress, because I know a lot of people, it divided a lot of people, didn't it? It was quite divisive, like I think as it got later in the run. So yeah, I've obviously picked up reading. I think I've read some of the Bane. What is it? City of Bane? Yeah, I read some of those. Yeah, I read some of those issues, but and then obviously I'm properly behind the James Tynion stuff at the moment.
I mean, that stuff's incredible as well. The James Tynion stuff.
Yeah, that's it. So that's pretty good. So I tell you what, we'll do some of my purchases.
Purchases.
It's not nothing. I don't know. There's probably nothing that major. But yeah, there's some stuff that like this, for example. So this, I think it's like either early Silver Age or very early or very late Golden Age. Mighty Mouse Adventures, very random book, and it is literally virtually falling apart. So I picked it up really cheap. Just because it was one of those ones where I was buying bits and bobs off this seller on eBay, and I saw that. It reminded me of when I was a kid, and I used to love Mighty Mouse comics. Cartoons. And I just thought, well, it's Mighty Mouse Adventures, number one. I looked it up a little bit, and I think it's although his first appearance was in another even older book, this is his first ever like solo series.
Nice.
I just thought, there's hardly any of them knocking about being sold or whatever, but I'm like really tempted to just like get it in a slab just to preserve it, because I haven't been able to find another one. As I say, it was about £5, so it was just a bit of fun, just a bit of fun, just to have in the old personal collection. And then I've added these ones to my. They're just literally these were like a couple of quid each. Fantastic Fours. So again, nothing too fantastic, but yeah, I'm just. I bought obviously a load of the earlier Fantastic Fours last week.
Very cool. I like the covers.
Yeah,
the old school Jack Kirby covers.
Yeah, that's what stood out really for that. I like the colours on that are pretty cool.
Is it Jack Kirby, that one? I'd assume so.
He looks very Kirby-esque. It's issue 110, so it's early enough to be Kirby. This one's got the signature on there. It's got R Buckler, so that one's obviously a lot 150, so that's later. But yeah, I'm loving all the Kirby covers. I mean, like that's becoming my new thing, I think. Just to sort of like trim down what I'm collecting at the moment. So sort of going to focus on obviously Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. We've spoke about Spawn from a modern context because I think that's a good investment type of thing. And then looking at then everything else, I think anything else I'm just going to focus on like keys and first appearances really. I think that's my general plan.
Keys are the way forward, mate.
Yeah, but it keeps me active anyway. As I say, it's good stuff, and I'm starting to obviously sell through, much like yourself. With it's just selling bits and bobs off my own old collection that I don't, I've had for years, and I've got no real sort of interest in anymore or whatever. So yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Exciting. I like it. But right then, what would you like to talk about now, Tom?
I'm easy. Throw me one.
Throw you a bone. Here we go. We'll talk about something that you're going to obviously love.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so speaking of James Tinian, this is written by James Tinian and the artwork is by Freddie Williams. Absolutely amazing. Hi, Rich.
Yeah, Rich.
Yeah, so this is the third installment of the Batman Teenage Ninja Turtles crossover. Now, I've never ever read Infinite Crisis. I probably should really, but I feel like this is a slight different take on the same thing. Yeah. But it's really, really good because the whole comic starts out as Batman and the Turtles in the same universe. They've all been trained by Splinter, so Batman is one of Splinter's ninjas, if you like. Rather than him be Batman and he's been brought up by Alfred, he's been brought up by Splinter. And the Turtles are all in like Nightwing, Robin, and Red Hood. Like Raphael is dressed up as Red Hood. It's amazing. So it's really good because basically what's happened is Krang has merged all the universes together, and he's completely messed with the time stream and the universes and things. And so Batman's got no idea that he's supposed to be an orphan, and the Turtles have no idea that Batman isn't actually their brother. So it's really quite interesting how that goes about, and then it plays out a little bit later on in the story. Like the original Turtles that were black and white, they turn up in this comic. The original Batman with the grey suit and the big yellow emblem, he turns up in this book. It's so fun to actually really fun to read. I can see why these crossovers do so well, because I'm guessing the writers get a chance to just have a real play with how they would like to see things happen and all sorts. But one of the cool things in this is the Joker is a cross between the Joker and Shredder, and he's called the Laughing Man, and he's absolutely amazing right up until the point they throw him in a vat and he becomes like our Joker, and then he just goes off the walls. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Worth reading.
So proper like parallel, alternate university type of stuff going on there then.
Yeah, it's so good. There's a really interesting. There's a bit that I really enjoyed in issue 2, where the black and white Raphael turns up. Everything else is in color. He's the only thing in black and white, and then he absolutely annihilates all 4 Turtles and Batman in a fight on his own, and then says, "Look, this is obviously not right. You should be beating me. I'm one person. I'm on my own, and I'm old." And I've just wiped the floor with you. So you how can you not see that this is not right? Like the universe isn't right. If you can't beat me, something's not right. It's so good.
So does it act as like a sequel to the earlier kind of like the Batman?
No, you don't have to have read any of the others.
Just
you've read the first incantation and then the second incantation, they do match up. But this one doesn't match up with the other 2. So it's quite good actually. Apart from the fact that they do mention that Batman and the Turtles have met before, but you can kind of skip that bit because he doesn't elaborate on why or how they met.
Oh, like it. Okay, I mean that's pretty. Like you say, it makes it more fun, doesn't it? So.
It was very fun to read, and I read it very quickly, so it just shows how good it was. To be fair.
That's cool. Awesome. So moving on, and a nice little sort of segue to some of my purchases, because obviously last week I'd picked up some of the, I think it was issues 6 through till about 13 of the original Turtles, but I can't remember if I showed them in the stream last week. But as I say,
I don't think you did. No,
I thought maybe I got them at the weekend. Anyway, I've got those now. But today, I had these ones from the same seller. They just all ended on a different day. And I got that one.
That almost looks like Raph's... Oh, no. That's because the original Turtles are all in red. I was going to say, that almost looks like Raph is purple, but that's Leonardo.
Yeah.
And he's got a red bandana.
So,
purple.
Picked up that. And then got this one as well.
Nice. Is that Raph standalone?
Yeah, it's like a RAF standalone. Yeah, and that's Casey Jones there as well. So yeah, but I didn't know much about these at all. So I've had to do a bit of research because again, they're not they're quite quite rare. But again, picked them up from a low feedback seller on eBay, so they were a good price. Much like the other ones because they're all from the same seller. So it's just one of those ones where I just thought, well, I'll pick them up, take a punt. But I'm definitely going to get them graded because the only thing I can see on these is it's just on the on the bottom corner there. There's a slight little mark there, but like the spines and everything are really good, and obviously it's black cover up at the top. And it's really nice books. I just can't believe how much they've changed because we'd spoke because obviously your Grails Turtles.
I would love to own an original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage Comics issue 1.
Yeah,
even if it's a second printing.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah. Well, there's about 5 printings or something like that.
Different printings, but the 5th printing is modern age size comic.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like the first 4 are all the original size, which would have been slightly bigger than Golden Age. But issue 1, believe it or not, was printed on really bad paper, which is why you can't find a 9.8 in that particular issue 1 because they're falling apart.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting because obviously I've got I've got the first printing of issue 6, and they are, as I say, they're a weird size. They're sort of halfway between silver and current, but like this is, I think, in a current sleeve. Is it? Yeah, the current sleeve, but obviously Mylar, and it's, I don't know. It's this one. These ones are obviously like normal comic size, but those other earlier issues, they were like very. They seemed quite fat, so I put them into silver age sleeves. But they'll be interesting to get graded and see what we get because I'm going to get all of them graded because I think they're if any of them turn out to be a 9.8, they'll be quite rare and quite sought after, and they're the types of books that I'm not going to read myself because I don't need to read them, and they're in too good a condition to read anyway, if that makes sense. So
I kind of understand.
I think they might be in my first batch of books to go to CGC, obviously in the next month or whatever. So
nice.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, so that was my little Turtles segue anyway. So
one of the people we deliver in the village to during this Corona period, they've got a little turtle. I thought it was a rock.
That's such
delivering potatoes to them, and there was this little rock, and then it started moving, and I was like, Charlotte, it's a turtle. I actually want a turtle now.
Yeah, they are quite cool. I always wanted a turtle. Like, do you remember when they had they sold them as terrapins, but they were baby turtles, and they ended up when turtles first came out on the telly. Like back in the 80s, back when I were a wee lad.
Is this when they were drawing them on stone?
So yeah, this is it, on stone before they just printed them on crappy newspaper print. But they had all the pet shops. They had this like massive thing on people wanting pet bloody turtles. So they went and people were buying these like little terrapins as they were advertising. Oh yeah, they won't grow too big, and then they were proper baby turtles that like grew to like fucking huge things like really quick. And some of them were like snapping turtles and stuff because they were probably getting them from like irreputable sources and all the rest of it. Probably China. Well, yeah, probably China. But
we bought a Rottweiler, but he's not quite. It's not quite
filled out.
It's not quite filled out yet, have you?
In our village, when we've been going for a walk, we keep bumping into this bloke who's walking his sausage dog, but he's a lot older than Ragnar, and he's a proper fat sausage. Like my wife Holly, literally, like every time we see it, she like loses her shit and it's like, I can't wait till Ragnar's like this. He's
I
right.
don't think Rag will ever be fat, mate. I won't allow it.
Oh, you wait. Spoilt rotten.
He's
Spoilt rotten.
hench.
He's going to be
hench.
hench. You're going to get him on the dumbbells.
Yeah, mate, he's on the resistance bands at the moment.
Awesome. Right then, Tom. Next read coming up. So, we'll do your next sort of one-off-ish one, I think, shall we?
Yeah,
Actually, yeah. So I was surprised at this one because I don't know much about this. So we'll do this one.
Oh, okay. So this actually is really interesting. So I reread it because we went back and did Spawn on Tuesday.
That's right.
So
Yeah, check out the video if you haven't watched it.
So I went back and got my collection out and had a good old look, see what I'd got. And I'd got this and the next one I'm going to talk about. And I thought, you know, I'm going to read them because I haven't read them for years. And I enjoyed both those books. And rereading them, I'd totally forgotten what happens in them, apart from one particular thing that happens in the other book. Anyway, I had no idea that this was written by the legendary Garth Ennis.
Okay.
I had no idea until I started reading it. And I was like, who writes this? And then I flipped back to the front. I was like, oh my God, Garth Ennis. Also, what's his name? Neil Gaiman is involved in the writing of this book, which is amazing. I'm not really sure how to say the artist's first name, but I think it's Brendan or Brandon, one of the two.
Yeah.
Peterson, and he's amazing. Not the best written book, and probably not the best artwork when you consider like stuff that Todd McFarlane was doing in the comic itself.
She's stunning, yeah.
However, as a standalone book to give you an idea of who Medieval Spawn was and who Witchblade is, it's quite a nice little it's just a nice little standalone story. I enjoyed it, very much enjoyed it when I was younger. This time around rereading it, I found it was very crude in places, and it was very like, oh, that's unnecessary, or there's a couple of bits I thought, well, yeah, that's just adult for the sake of being adult. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they could get away with it. Rags. I got my chair.
Yeah. You fall on the floor.
Yeah, I'm going to fall on the floor, man. But yeah, it was very good. I would recommend it if you want to read something a bit fun, but are not too worried about not necessarily adult content, but like adult humor. I would say. Okay. It's good though. I would recommend to read it for that particular reason, but it's not on my like highlight of one of the best things I read this week.
Yeah, it's more of a curiosity type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I still keep it.
Yeah.
I'd never sell it on because it's something I've had since I was a kid. But I definitely shouldn't have read it when I was a child.
Yeah, you probably didn't get it. It probably just went over your head.
I was probably more interested in the artwork.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, like Neil Gaiman, because obviously Neil Gaiman, he created Angela, didn't he? I believe.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And then he had a fallout with Todd McFarlane because of the image rights, because it kind of went. Neil Gaiman was like, I own Angela. And then it was like Todd McFarlane was like, I'm onto a winner here with Angela. I want to hold on to her rights myself. And that kind of went a little bit against the grain of what Image was all about.
Well, that's the thing. That was what shot him in the foot in the end. I mean, as soon as he said, I own Angela, and it's like, well, no, it's creative own rights. So, no, you don't. I do. Yeah.
And Neil Gaiman, fortunately, won. And that's part of the reason why I think Angela ended up going over to Marvel now.
I had no idea my favorite artist Michael Turner was in this book.
Oh, what is that? The centerpiece?
One of the centerpieces, yeah. Even Mark Silvestri is in this book. There's a lot of decent artists in here that have done like there's a lot of like one-shot drawings in here.
Yeah.
It's really quite cool what they've done. They've collected a lot of decent artwork in here. I think that's probably helped to cover up the slightly bad story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as books go, it's not the worst. I mean, yeah. Happy days.
Happy days indeed, mate. So, what I will segue over to will be, So I will talk a little bit about my Batman, because it won't take long.
Yeah,
it's James Tinian's Detective Comics. This is what I'm reading at the moment. I am also reading the Philip Pullman's Secret Commonwealth book as well, which I will be finishing over the weekend. And then, thank God, I'll be able to be back to reading more comic books as well. So hopefully, I'll be heading my way through a lot of these hardcovers quite quickly. I want to read like a load of my Batman hardcovers, and which will be cool because like me and Tom will be able to talk more about them. And yeah, just like widen my horizons. I'm reading obviously Fantastic Four as well because I've got the Marvel Unlimited app, but I've only read like the first 2 issues of Fantastic Four, the original Volume 1 stuff, because I'm obviously collecting those as well. And yeah, so that's where I am, but really loving. I think it just must be James Tynion's writing style. It hits that happy medium between what comics are all about, being quite fun, but also being able to like deal like serious punches. Like it's like to have that like sort of have that right mix of kind of like comedy and story. I don't know. It's really good.
Yeah, I do. I think James Tynion's run on Detective Comics is one of the better runs. I do like what he does with Clayface. Yeah,
Clayface is awesome. I didn't know much about Clayface, but and I went back in and did a bit of reading around like his origin and the fact that he was like a really beautiful actor.
Yeah.
And then obviously turned into Clayface, which obviously
I've got his name.
Yeah, it's like a Latin kind of name. He mentions it in the issue I've just read. He said, "Oh, he wears like a wristband or something," and asks Robin if he can keep hold of the wristband so that because he hasn't been able to stay in his more handsome-looking form for longer than a few minutes or something. So, but yeah, really enjoying it. As I say, I'm only 3 issues into this run. So I've got a long way to go yet. I think there's 4 volumes of these hardbacks of Tynion's run. So I've got 2 lined up ready to go as well. So really, really enjoying it. Recommend it to anybody. James Tynion. Can't wait till we can start reading Batman again, and head towards the Joker War.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, just which should be upon us. But as I say, hopefully we'll get round to reading that fairly soon. So fingers crossed. So and this kind of where were we? So have we done that? There we go. So
this actually is one of the best comics I've read this week. Just because it's so much fun. I've forgotten how well they wrote this one. Because it's a mix between Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane, the writing, but it's all drawn by Todd McFarlane. But Frank Miller, I forgot how much he writes Batman as an old grumpy git.
Yeah. I love it's Dark Knight, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's basically what this is. It's basically the Dark Knight meets
Batman.
And it's so good in so many different ways. Because Spawn, obviously, if you don't know much about Spawn, he doesn't really play by the superhero rules. He's an anti-hero. He basically, if you annoy him or you're in his way, you're dead, essentially. Whereas Batman, if you're in his way and he's got to put you down, he'll hurt you a lot, but he won't go that cross that line.
Yeah.
So there's bits in this where Spawn crosses the line and Batman has to say, whoa, what are you doing? That's not how we do. And Spawn's like, that's how I roll, mate. So deal with it.
Yeah.
It's really good. And I would definitely say read it because you don't necessarily get the I don't know how the best way to describe this. Anyway, so the dynamics between the two of them, they're obviously completely chalk and cheese. But as the book goes on, they have to join together to take on whoever it is that's in the book. I don't want to ruin it for everyone, but how they have to both kind of go, do you know what? I'm going to park this part of my personality for Batman, and then Batman, I'm going to park this part of my personality for Spawn so we can collab is great. And then how it ends, the last panel determines quite a few comic books of Spawn afterwards, because Batman throws a batarang and it splits Spawn down the front of his face.
Oh, I remember you
From
saying.
there on, from issue 10 onwards in Spawn, he's got stitches in his face, which carries on for about 50 issues.
Awesome.
So he had,
Cool.
understood why he had that split. There you go.
There you go. From Batman. So cool that like that, because like we were saying in the video on Tuesday, weren't we, about that like crossover potential? Because he's obviously, you know, Todd McFarlane, and we know the whole story around like Marvel and all the rest of it. Yet there is such a potential for both, from both ways. It's so cool that he keeps that open.
Definitely. I mean, well, Spawn's based in Manhattan. He's actually based in New York.
Yeah.
So they could do that because that's basically where most of the Marvel characters are based, are within New York.
Yeah.
It's only the DC characters that are in their own cities, as it were. I mean, I know Gotham is based on New York.
Yeah.
But I don't, you know, it's not called New York.
No. So yeah, so I'll just round off my last couple of purchases before I show you the contents of the mystery box that I bought. That I was quite impressed with. So, so first of all, I bought these next two books off the same seller, and it's a shame because this one has got slightly damaged in the post, but it was only like £1.25. But it's a Marvel Super Action, pretty cool cover. Got like Namor on there, Black Panther, Ant-Man, and all the rest of it. So it was the cover that drew me in on that one, and I just put a cheeky bid of like, so £1.50 on there just to make my shipping a bit more reasonable. And the reason was because the other one that I won was this one, which is obviously I am kind of, you know, much like Tom, a bit partial to obviously Todd McFarlane, obviously like Spawn and all the rest of it. And I'd love my probable one of my Spider-Man grails is obviously issue 300, much like anybody. Yeah, I was bidding on this. It was, I mean, this is a very, very clean copy. It was labelled up as I think a very fine, but it is in much better condition than I thought it would be. The only thing I can see is, if you can see that there, that line, it looked on the picture on eBay that it was like quite a bad crease, but if that doesn't press out, I'll be absolutely amazed. But the spine's really good as well. There's a couple of little ticks on there, but I'm going to get that cleaned, pressed, and graded because it's until I've got my 300. That is going to, you know, it's the sort of like the poor man's alternative. But it's only £12, well, £13.50 with shipping or something like that. So
I'm wrong with that, mate.
No, and then I got this one. So this is a bit of a spec purchase. It's one of these like fancy hologram covers. I love a hologram cover. Amazing Spider-Man 365, and this is one of the first appearances of Spider-Man 2099. So that's getting a lot of hype at the moment because of the multiverse.
I think I've got that.
Yeah, definitely get that. I mean, that a couple of months ago was easily like £5 book. I haven't been able to find those consistently below £20.
I've got that one. I'm sure I have.
Yeah, so if it's in good condition, I'm half considering getting it graded, but the bottom corner's a little bit funny, but it might be.
Sorry, Rags.
Might be one that I get looked at because it's got a really bad spine tick as well. Can you see that? There.
Oh yeah.
And it's slightly bright the colour as well. But I bought it for myself, so it wasn't one that I wanted to flip or anything like that. So I might get it graded, but I'm not too sure. And then this one was again just a cheap pickup. It was a couple of quid. Submariner number 9. And again, it's pretty good condition. Couple of marks on there and stuff. Not an expensive book. It's bottom corner that's got the most wear and stuff. But yeah, again, I think I picked that up as part, like along with one of these other sellers. Like, you know, I just like tend to bid on a couple of other bits and bobs just to make it a little bit cheaper for shipping normally. But yeah, so that's it. I've just got the mystery box to do, so I'll show you that in just a moment. But I think we've got your last couple of bits to talk about what you've read.
Happy days.
Which one did you want to go with? Did you want to go
Giant X-Men first?
Yeah. So there you go, mate.
So this is my actual Grail that I would love to own at some point. However, I've changed my mind slightly because I've got the facsimile. So I don't really need to own the original anymore. So, but yes, so I picked this one up because I was always interested, because Colossus is one of my favorite characters of all time. I just like the idea of a big Russian dude that turns into metal and just can punch holes into things and throw Wolverine around. So, I mean, I had to get it. It's written by Lee Wayne. Lee Wayne?
I think it is Lee Wayne, yeah.
And the artwork is by Dave Cockrum. It's very good. But basically the idea is that the X-Men that we know and love, like Cyclops, Beast, Jean Grey, Angel, and Iceman, have all gone to the island of Krakoa. And whilst on the island has attacked them. They've ended up being left there. And then Cyclops has come back and said to Professor X, I need some help. Let's go and save them. So Professor X rounds up this new team, and you get the first appearance of Storm, you get the first appearance of Colossus, second appearance of Wolverine, you get the first appearance of Thunderbird, and Sunfire's in this as well. So yeah, it is really good. Very well written, I think. The complexities between each character is great. Like, you get a little bit of origin in each one. Wolverine is exactly how he is in the movies, more so than he is nowadays in the comics. Like, he's got that kind of arrogance, that kind of like, yeah, all right, I'm just going to do it because I'm an animal, I want to do it. You don't tell me what to do, sort of thing. Colossus hasn't really got that protective. Magic is in this as well. Ileana Rasputin, which is his little sister who later becomes Magic, she's also in this. And then Storm is in this as like pretending to be a goddess. So her character is completely different to what I have grown up with and got used to. And Nightcrawler is really cool in this. So yeah, I would definitely say if you've not read this one, it's a classic and it's worth reading for sure.
Cool. I bet you'll end up getting one of these someday, mate.
Well, I mean, if I did, I'd be extremely happy if I did. But I've got the facsimile, so at least I can read it. Yeah,
that's the main thing. That is the main thing. And to follow that up.
So yeah, imagine. So a few years later, well, quite a few years later, I can't remember his name now, but Burkham. I don't know how you say it. Anyway, a few years later, they rewrote the Giant Size X-Men story, but imagine that when the Krakoa attacked the X-Men, that they weren't the only team that went. There was another team that went to Krakoa to help the X-Men, who Professor Xavier and Moira McTaggart put together to help the X-Men. However, that entire team didn't make it, but yet Professor Xavier wiped the entire planet's memory of this team ever existing. So this book is about that team, well, one member of that team making his return to the nowadays and exposing Professor X as a fraud. It is incredible and it's well worth reading. The way it ends is not great because it's kind of like, oh, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But all the way through, rereading this, I remember why I loved it and why I've kept it and why it's one of my favorite graphic novels. And there's a lot of art in here by Mark Silvestri, so it's it is amazing. But the basic story is it just blows this one into a completely different dimension. So you get like Wolverine and Nightcrawler, like, well, I don't remember any of these guys. We went to Krakoa, we saved the team, and it's like, no, you didn't. That never happened. It's all in your head. So it is really interesting. It's definitely worth reading. I would definitely recommend it. 5-star. From me.
5-star review. I love it.
I forgot how much I loved it.
Yeah. Good.
Now that's me, and that's all my reads done. Sorry. Sorry to wibble on for 17 million books.
It's all right. It's all right. Been busy this week, mate. Right. Anyway, so my final purchase that I will share with you now is basically there's quite a lot of groups on Facebook, comic books for sale UK and stuff like that. And one in there was a lad. Yeah, it would have been last week. Basically, wanted to start doing mystery boxes, trying to find like the right balance between prizes and all the rest of it, but doing it in the style of like these ones that we've seen, sort of like Torpedo Comics doing, and like the bigger names, like not probably Comic Tom as such with his 101 boxes, but doing something where there's a prize behind it. With this one, I think the top prize last week was, I can't remember. I think definitely there were Ultimate Spider-Mans in there, and then there was a slab of something that was really cool, and I can't quite remember what it was. But I thought he was doing them for introductory price of £25. They've gone up to £30 this week, and yeah, I'll show you what I got because I was very, very, very lucky in many respects. So the way that he tries to break it down is basically he wanted to do 5 variant covers that were worth, I think, around about £50 on average, and then he wanted to. There were 5 normal covers that were, not about 10 quid retail or whatever. But I got the Wolverine. I think it's in Hook Lee variant. So that was one of them, which is pretty nice. This, which is the deceased, I think this is a 1 in 10 variant, which again isn't too bad. Yeah, it's a Ben Oliver variant. I think it was a Forbidden Planet exclusive, that one. Then there's that one, which is one of the Gomez Power Ranger helmets ones. I think it's issue 44 with the Yellow Ranger. Then these were some of the cheaper ones. So a Hellboy comic, House of Whispers, Harley Quinn, Middle West. We got I think it's like a Bronze Age Power Girl #4.
Nice.
And then I got this, and then it was a Miles Morales issue #8. But I don't think that's a key or anything like that, but still not too bad. The best thing about it, though, is that I did get this. This is Spider-Man #1, and it's a Perillo variant.
That's cool. I like
that. Virgin variant as well. So this one on its own would get me my money back effectively. Not to mention, obviously, how much the other stuff's worth, whether it's £2 a lot. So I was really happy with that. But I did get one of the top prizes as well, which was a slabbed Ultimate Spider-Man #1. So it's a modern. It's an old slab, as you can tell. So it was from obviously the early sort of 2000s when Ultimate Spider-Man came out. It's 9.4, which is fine. I've got one of these myself that I've had for years because obviously I've collected the whole. It's probably one of the only comic book runs that I've pretty much got 100% of the run. So it was a really good one for me. Obviously, Michael Bendis with Bagley art, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Happy day.
And that was one of the. I mean, that on its own in a 9.4. I don't know if it'd matter that whether I'd have to get it like I'd benefit from getting it reholdered into a modern, like the more up to date case, but because this one's a bit scratched and stuff. But that on its own, slab like that is about £60.
Nice.
So with that and all the rest of it, it was an absolute steal, really. Needless to say, he's doing it every week. And I have put myself down for this week's. I wouldn't have done it. However, the prize this week is an ASM 300.
Your holy grail.
Which is a holy grail. So it's not graded. It's a raw book. high. He says it's a high grade, so I think he means like sort of 8 or above. But I don't care what the condition, as long as I get one of those, and I'll send it off to get stabbed. I won't care what grade it is, as long as it presents well. I'm a happy person. Do you know what I mean? So
happy person.
So whether I'll have waited till next week, I don't really want to share my disappointment when I don't get the ASM 300 next week. But yeah, so I've ordered that.
I think if you get it, just hold on to it till next Thursday, and then we'll open it.
Well, I won't know. That's the thing. It'll be in the box. I won't know till I open it. But yeah, I know what
box live on the channel.
Yeah, I know. But like, I'll be really disappointed if everything's shit in there. That's the problem. But anyway, I might buy something else more exciting to show everybody next week. So you never know what's going to pop up. So we will see. We will see.
Nice.
But that's it. Yeah. So I'm pretty much done. So do you want to talk about giveaway, Tom?
Yeah. So we're going back to March. We started a giveaway to give away 10 comics. There were going to be 8 out of our NQM crate, and then there was going to be our top prick from February and our top cover pick from February, and also we were going to throw in a sketch cover by me. And the best way to get involved in this giveaway, if you want to get involved, is to comment below, not in the live chat, but in the actual video itself on YouTube and on our Facebook, and just put NQM crate giveaway, and we'll throw you into the draw to possibly win some free comics. Rich will explain a little bit more why I grabbed the actual book itself.
Yeah, so all it basically is yeah, as Tom said, we were pre-lockdown back in February, started this giveaway, and then as we were getting close to obviously as we moved into March, we didn't know what the hell was going on. We didn't know if we were going to be able to post stuff out to people. And the last thing we wanted to do, because I think we were about to do the draw when we went on lockdown, weren't we?
Yeah, I think the week just.
And because of that, it was like, I don't know what's going to happen to the post. We didn't want to like post this out to somebody and then them not get it. So we decided to hold on to it. We've reopened it. Everybody who took part when we originally did it, February, March time, everybody's still entered. We've still got all your entrants. I've got them on a list. But obviously, it's just going to give everybody a chance to obviously get things rolling with our giveaways again. Hashtag NQM giveaway down in the video comments on YouTube or in the comments on Facebook. Depends on where you've watched this. And you might, amongst other comics, win Tom's obviously original sketch cover Thor #1.
And it's free.
And it's free to take part. We'll send it out, send it to the post, pop it in the post. Absolutely no problems whatsoever, guys.
If you want to see what the finished product looks like, once it's been inked and coloured, have a look at the thumbnail from the Thor keys in isolation we did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. If you check out our other videos, we will. You'll be able to see the like the inked artwork that Tom completed for the thumbnail.
And keep your eye on the thumbnails, because the NQM prints are going to start popping up. Or the artwork that's ever going to be on there now will eventually become NQM prints. So keep your eyes out for them.
That would be amazing. Tom just disappeared, but I think he's back. Yeah. But, we're all done, aren't we? We're all finished. We'll be back next Tuesday with some more key comics. So make sure that you come by then. Follow us over on obviously our social media.
It's
until we see you. Pardon?
It's Superman next week.
Yeah, so Superman next week. So keep your eye open. Tom's going to do obviously another original sketch for that as well. That's going to appear in the thumbnail. Watch us over on Instagram. You'll probably get some sneak peeks, or Twitter, or whatever you prefer to use. And yeah, we'll see you same time on Tuesday. So yeah.
Stay home, stay safe, and look after each other. And most importantly, read loads more comics. And we'll, I'm going to say, see ya. See ya.